it's Linda from Linda Loves Creating, and I'm back to share with you a look at how March went in my Hobonichi Cousin. So this is the end of the first quarter. I'm 3 months into this planner. I'm finding my groove a lot more. I think I'm still adjusting, but I'm definitely loving how this planner is going. I think I showed you guys this last month that I had added a few stickers on here, and I took this, used to be like tucked inside here, and I took it out, so I really love that. I just have these sticky notes here that I use for meal planning in this pocket, and I intended to add a few more things into these pockets, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I just kind of like the look of having some like photos and stuff in here, in addition to having some like sticky notes and things. So that's just something I just haven't gotten around to. Something I did add this month was this list right here of useful links. These are things that or not links, useful information. So I add a lot of random stuff on my dailies, and sometimes there are things I'm gonna wanna reference again. So I'm just keeping a running list here of anything that I'm thinking I might wanna reference again regularly. And that way I'll know exactly where it is without having to like tab all these pages or have like, not really know what all the tabs are or have to like flip through everything. So I think that is going to be helpful reference. And I've started actually adding more because there were some things that I kind of wanted in here as like collection type things. And I had blank pages, but I didn't want them to kind of just get lost. So I like that I have this up front. I want to show you guys again how my daily tracking is going. I am doing really well at keeping track of this. I have already written these out through June, which I think was a mistake because I would like to be able to kind of adjust the habits that I'm tracking each month. So I think next year I will only write 1 month at a time. What I have on here that I also don't like is I have 3 different workout type things, and these are not things that I am aiming to do every day. I'm just aiming to do them sometimes, especially this one that is for hiking or other. I haven't done that at all this year because it's been the winter and it's not hiking season, so I'm not hiking. And I wrote other because I thought occasionally I run or something, but that's not something I really do that often because I have foot problems. So I don't like that there's this like column that's empty because that's not really my goal to fill that in. My goal is to fill in all of these other ones. So I feel like I kind of want to do like where all the ones that I'm aiming to fill in every day are filled out or like are included. And then the ones that I don't necessarily want to fill out are either just not on this tracker at all, or they're like over to the side. So I think that that's kind of what I will do for the next 6 months. Down here, I have like my long-term cleaning trackers, and I kind of really fell off of this in February. I was doing really well in January, the beginning of January, but then January was a crazy month. February was an even crazier month. So January, I taught a class at allieedwards.com, which just took so much time that I didn't have a lot of time beyond that and my full-time job and just like regular life stuff and parenting and like all the things that I have to do like these deeper cleaning things after the first week of the year. So I didn't completely finish, but I thought, okay, I'm doing okay. But then February, I was just exhausted. I was so burned out from January. I went on vacation for a week. I only went for a week, but I just stopped using my planner for a few days before I left, and I didn't use it a couple days after I got back because I was still getting back into swing of things, and I just wanted to write that in there to explain why there was this gap. But I didn't get to any of my long-term cleaning in February because I was just trying to get back on track. In March, I did end up doing a few of these things. You can see what I did for the microwave deep cleaning. I put a little so I used a bullet journal, so I used some of the bullet journal techniques. So I used this little thing to forward it to March, and I wrote it in here, and then I put, so the number is the date in that month that I completed it. I also did one of the things in March, and then I decided I don't want to do the closet wardrobe now, so I used the carrot that means to schedule it, and I scheduled it for May as something I want to focus on in May. And I'm hopefully going to actually get to that then. my thought with that was that I'm taking it off my list. It's not even something I'm considering doing, so I don't have to really stress about it. The other things on here I do want to do, but I'm not moving everything that's not completed every month because I don't want to just like have really long lists. I'm going to move it, like the microwave, I moved it once I knew I was doing it, and that way, or actually I think I already did it, so I moved it so that I knew that my tracker would be accurate. Like if I wrote the 24 here on February, then that wouldn't make sense because I cleaned it on the 24th of March. So I needed to move it, but I don't want to just like move it every month, if that makes sense. Okay, so moving to my monthly. So I was struggling with my monthlies, and in February, I was starting to try to like decorate it, and then I just didn't because I fell off my planner in February a lot. So then coming into March, I was like, oh, I'm going to do that again. And then I was like, this is not working. This is fun, but it's not necessary. I have too many things I'm trying to keep up with. And I thought what I really use my monthly for is future planning. I write down appointments. Like my goal with my planner is that this is a planner first. This is where I am keeping track of all of my appointments, all of my to-do lists, and everything that needs to get done. And if it's not being functional in that way, then it's not really serving me. All of the decoration and stuff is fun, but if that's taking away from the functionality of my planner, then that's not helpful. So this part, the monthly, I am using to keep track of my future plans only. So I'm not really writing in anything after it happened. A few things I'm like, I crossed these out because like they didn't happen, but other things like my daughter was sick, so I just crossed out. She didn't go to she didn't go to work this weekend. So I cross that out, and maybe I did it like at the time, but a lot of these things were scheduled ahead of time. And so this is how I know like, oh, here's where these appointments are and that kind of stuff. So I know what's coming up when I'm setting up my weeks and setting up my days so that I can see, you know, when I have appointments. And I just, between my daughter and me, there's always like a ton of things going on. So this way I know that we're not double booked and I don't forget anything. Over here, I have my monthly tasks, which that matches what's here. So I can keep track of what I want to do and check it off as I do it. My monthly cleaning. So everything in my house that I do is like my regular cleaning, not my deep cleaning. I want to clean once a month. So I list it all out here and then I check them off as I've done it that month. I do put these in my weeklies and my dailies when I'm trying to work on them. But this way I have like a record of what I did that month. And I don't always get to everything, but I try. These are my catch-up tasks. So these are the monthly deep clean that I didn't get to in previous months, and I put them on here because I wanted to get to them. And then here's just another like random to-do list of things that I needed to get done or want to get done this month that aren't cleaning or house related, but just like other things. So this was like I needed to renew my passport. I needed to make a hair appointment. So things like that I needed to get done. So I put those on there. Okay, then moving into the weeklies. So the first week of March, I was really kind of trying something new with this. And one of my goals in keeping a daily journal versus a daily planner was I need a place to hold stories and notes of what happened in a day so that when I finally get to doing my project life, I have a record of what happened. I am not someone who can do project life at the time. And even if I do it sometimes while it's happening, I'm not doing it all the time like that. And I don't want the stress of, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget all these stories. So I want a place that I am writing things down in real time to be able to reference. And my new plan was that I'm going to use my weeklies for that. So I kind of fell off of it here, but I was also using my daily journal at this time. So it was kind of like the transition period. But what I ended up doing was on this Sunday, I really fully moved into this new plan and committed to it. And basically, I'm just making some notes of everything that actually happened that day. So this is not future planning. This is at the end of the day, I'm going through, or during the day, I'm going through and making notes of everything that happened. Some things will be put in here in the future that I know are going to happen, like appointments and things, because that is going to be part of, you know, what actually happened. But I'm just kind of banking on them actually happening as planned. And if not, I will have to make a note of that and fix it. I also use my weekly for some future planning. So I have been putting the weather on here. I've been doing that the day before so that I kind of have an idea of what the weather is like the next day, just to kind of prep for the day. This to-do list is kind of matching my monthly to-do list here, this monthly to-do list, but the things that I want to do this week. And then sometimes there's just other things that come up that I want to do in that week. And there are other things that I put in every week. Like I want to upload my photos, clean out my inbox, clear out my camera roll. So those are the kind of things like I put on pretty much every week. I don't do it every week, but I put them most weeks. And then I put a focus of things that I really want to work on during this week, or kind of like my priorities. Down here, I put my cleaning. So this is things from my monthly cleaning. And there are certain cleaning tasks that I do every week, like sweeping and, things for the cat and stuff that have to happen every week. So I put in here, I take out the trash, the things that I need to do on those specific days. Sometimes they don't end up happening on that exact day, but this is kind of at the beginning of the week, I sit down and make a plan for what I think I'm going to do each day based on what my schedule is for that week. And then at the bottom, I make a note of what I had for dinner. I don't do this prospectively. I used to do that in my planner, but I'm trying to be a lot more flexible with my meals and the way that my schedule works now. I just kind of have to be, because I'm not feeding my daughter every night anymore. So it's just a little bit more flexibility in what I'm end up doing and who I'm eating with. So what I've been doing is using these sticky notes, and I will put it here during the week with all of the meals that I have planned, that I have groceries for, and then as I decide when I'm eating and actually eat it, then I make a note of it. So moving into March here, you can see I really kind of embraced this new style. I really love how it turned out. I have for years kept the rainbow order as kind of like my go-to for the week. And in February, I had done this pink for every week. I had used pink as my weekly kind of base. And I decided in March that I wanted to switch my bases to gray, because that kind of gives me a blank slate without colors that I can come in and do kind of whatever I want. So I kind of stuck with my color scheme of doing red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink throughout the week. And I'm adding like little doodles. I'm trying to try with different fonts and different things. I added some stickers. I'm adding some stamps. The stickers I'm kind of going back and forth on. I don't love the bulk, but they are super cute, and I have a lot that I need to use up. So I'm trying to decide kind of what my idea is with those. But generally, this is working for me to kind of have a kind of notes of everything that happened during the day, so that when I go back and do my project life, this is working for me. I continued with the rainbow scheme on here. Something I like to do is I like to put in these lines for when I'm working. So I did them in the colors this week. Part of the problem I kind of ran into my writing. So I'm still kind of working on balancing putting these lines in with larger text. I'm also struggling to stamp kind of near the edge here, but I'm working on it. And I think I'm getting a little better and figuring out which stamps work. And I tend to stick with smaller stamps. I think that works the best in here. And like these little like TV one and little T ones and stuff, these are super cute. So I'm liking putting stuff like that just to add a little bit of interest to my page. But my main goal is to put the like bullets of kind of everything that happened. And my work schedule fluctuates a lot. So it's very helpful to me to just kind of write in at the end of the day what hours I actually ended up working that day, because that helps me when I'm doing my project life to kind of remember where I worked. So at the top here, I'm putting if I'm in the office or working from home, or if I'm not working at all. And then here I'm putting the hours I worked, because that kind of helps me know, was this really a work focused day or not? And I am making more notes about some of the things I'm working on during work in this section, even though in the past and still I haven't been putting a lot of work related things, because I don't scrapbook about like the details of my job, and a lot of that is secret. But I have been adding a little bit more just to kind of remind me of what happened that day, because it does trigger my memory about, everything that's going on. For this week, I decided to kind of stick with one color and use that along with gray for like a calmer color scheme. I think it was kind of fun, but I don't love it. I really like the rainbow better. I think that I'm going to stick with the rainbow for most of my spreads, but I can see doing something like this again in the future, maybe just doing a full monochrome one. I go back and forth, but I like having the gray as a base, and I actually did that going into April because I love that I come into the week and I can do pretty much anything I want with as far as the color scheme. I'm not bound by like a monthly color scheme. And then here's the last week of the month, and you can see I'm really kind of finding my flow here. I didn't do the colors in the stripes this time. I like that I can kind of switch it up. I am, though, still putting my hours in. I'm still using my stamps. I'm adding a little bit of color in each day and just having a lot of fun with it, adding more bullet pointed notes, just because this is now my primary form of documenting what happened that day in terms of what I'm going to reference when I'm doing Project Life. It's not necessarily the only thing, but it's the only thing that I'm consistently doing every day. Okay, now moving into my dailies. This is, of course, my favorite part of the Hobonichi Cousin, but it's also the part that I struggle with the most. So I use this just to do a very simple goals page, and I didn't really reference it at all during the month. Like I said at the beginning, March, I was really just trying to get back into life after a super busy January and February and holiday season and a lot of burnout. March then was also kind of a struggle. I had some like parenting struggles. It was kind of just a rough month. I think coming out of March, I'm in a much better place now that it's April than I was at the beginning of March. So that is good. But at the same time, it was a rough month. So I don't plan every single day, which gives me these blank pages that I want to fill up. So on the first, because it was the beginning of the month, and for my goals page, I do like overall goals. I just made like a checklist of everything that I wanted to take care of. And I didn't get to a lot of this stuff, and some of it I have done since then, but that's fine. I just wanted to get it all out of my head and down on paper because I do struggle with a lot of anxiety. And that's one of the reasons why I do plan so much, because it does help me manage my anxiety a lot. And just getting things on paper is just so good for me. Then I was using this style that I got from Planned Spreads on Instagram, where she's doing like other notes at the bottom and planning across the top. And I liked it, but I think I do it for a couple of days. And then I decided to go back to like my former style, because this is a really nice style, but I don't think that it's really for me long term. Here I didn't have anything on this day, so I ended up just using it for like some random notes and journaling. And I like that I added in a rub-in here because I'm just trying to, and like it didn't work very well because it's so old, but just trying to kind of like add more in here and see what I could do. I got this idea from Theory of Lauren, where she is putting a washi tape down for the entire week to kind of link the week together. And I did it for a couple of weeks, but again, I don't think that that's for me long term, so I didn't stick with it. I also have started printing out some like photos and memes to fill in gaps, and I do really like how that looks, and I think I'm going to stick with that one, but we'll see. So I have my checklist here, and then I'm just filling in gaps here. I did another rub-on, my washi tape, and just putting in some quotes of things that speak to me, just notes. I have random thoughts like, oh, here I've been listening to this song a lot. Here's a quote from something I'm reading. Here's something that happened. Just a lot of like random things just to kind of keep track of just random stuff of what is going on in my life. I have some sticky notes here to like cover some personal details, but generally when I do my daily plan, I'm doing my checklist here. And then here it's more kind of free flow. What do I need that day? I went through a few days here where I wasn't adding the day and the week at the top, just trying a few different things. I'm doing some journaling. These are just like random journaling things about specific things that happened that day. And it's kind of like hard for me to find the balance between this and a daily journal. I think I said in my previous Hobonichi Cousin video that I was kind of leaning towards using this as a daily journal, but I don't really like that so much. I think the way that I'm leaning is to use this as a daily journal to the extent it reflects on my productivity and my mood and that type of thing, because this is a planner about productivity. This is me trying to plan and get things taken care of, right? I want to have another daily journal or journaling that I do for like other things, like this is what happened, this is how I feel about it, but this is more from the perspective of things I want to keep track of, things I need to know, or things that impact my productivity. But you can see here I'm starting to do a little bit more like actual just journaling, and I'm trying to find, I sit right there here, I'm trying to find my rhythm in this planner as a planner/journal, and just trying to kind of figure out where I want to go. But I'm enjoying it. I love how this page came out. I added some photos, I added some memes, which I really like having a place to include the memes. That's something that I was kind of missing this year, so I am enjoying that. And I'm really just enjoying this planner so far. In March, I have a lot of days like this where I filled it in. I was able to come up with things to say, things to fill the day, and I love that. Here I have some notes from a nonfiction book that I am slowly trying to work my way through. It's been a long time, but I take large breaks from reading it. So I read a little bit, took some notes here, and I still have some blank space here, which kind of bothers me. I might, if I read some more of this book soon, add the notes here. I'm not sure. We'll see. Here I just have some other random notes. Again, now I'm having some more blank space, just trying to kind of fill it in. I am no longer being so strict on myself and saying, okay, I have to do this all today. There's gaps. I'm going back if I find a quote and saying like, oh, well, let me find a good size spot for that and I'll add it in. Here's a full blank day. This might stay blank. You know, that's just real life. I didn't plan that day. I didn't have any other collections, or, you know, maybe at some point I'll be like, I need a full page for a collection, and I'll flip back and this is where I will find one. Here, as you can see, I have my to-do list. I have just like a random idea I wanted to write down. I have a reflection on why I didn't get all of this done and a little bit more information on that. And then a meme, which I think is just like kind of where I'm going right now. A lot of random notes from things. I have a book suggestion that I saw online. Just different things like that are showing up in here. Trying out different handwriting, different pens, some that don't work out so well, some that I like. It's just kind of, it's fun. And recording just random things, doing a little bit of reflections. Here I started trying to work on my digital file organization. And I think I came back and did this a few days later, and this page was blank. And this part was blank of this day. So I filled in these here, and then I started to kind of write down things that I wanted to do to try to work towards my digital file organization, which is a huge project that I am embarking on. So I kind of made a list of like, these are the things I want to do when I am organizing a folder, and to kind of check it off. And then I made a checklist of all of the folders in 2022 and the one so far in 23. There's some space here to add, and this is going to be an ongoing project that I am going to continue referencing throughout the year as I work through this. However, I need to do older ones, so you'll see in a few days I add that in here as well. So here I'm back to planning, writing things out. I wrote out side quests. This is an idea I got from Claire from online, which I don't think I'm using it exactly the way that she's using it, but I think it still works. So she uses it as kind of like, here's a to-do list for this like side quest, which is not like my primary focus in my life, but I'm just going to do this other random thing. I wrote it as like I didn't get all this stuff done because I did these other things instead, which are actually good. And they're things that I wanted to do. Some were productive, some were just fun, but like those were just the things that kind of took me away from my primary to-do list. So I liked that perspective of it. And it goes with my kind of goal of keeping track of why or why not I'm not getting things done. Here's a few notes about things I was just working on, some reflection, and some things like, so here was at the end of the day, I was like, I have a lot I need to do tomorrow, but I don't feel like setting up my day yet. So what I did was I just made like a pre-planned list to get stuff out of my head before I went to bed that night, so that I wouldn't stress about it. And then in the morning I could come to a fresh page, which I did here. I did a fresh page. I started this new style here where I'm doing these bubbles rather than like this for my start. of each task, and I'm really enjoying that. I've been doing that now into April, so I am really liking this style. I'm not sure I will stick with it forever, but I think it's super cute. Here again, just some random notes. I said I'm starting spring cleaning, and some notes about different, just like, oh, I steam cleaned the ovens, and just a reflection on that. So if I ever want to do that again, that's not necessarily something I'm putting on my reference page, but there's so many things, if I flip back through here, I can find them. So I started Taylor Ranked this day, so I made notes of that. Just like a lot of reflection, some to-do list things. Here is something I printed out from Brandy Kincaid that I added in here, and I love that it matched the pink for the day. Moving into Monday, another busy day, another reflection with a lot of stuff. And then I didn't get into my planner at all on Tuesday or Wednesday because it was super busy. So I used these to fill out these digital file trackers that went with that one from, where was that? From here, to kind of go back and do older years. And I didn't even finish writing out all of them. I need to finish 19, 20, and 21, but I will add them all in here. And I haven't obviously checked any of them off yet, but that will be an ongoing project that I work on throughout the rest of the year in hopes to kind of clean up my digital file storage. Moving into Thursday, I went with this color in this new style, which I love. I'm using these are the Crayola Super Tip markers, which are just super they're fun. They're cute. They're nice with nice colors. And I'm just kind of enjoying the simplicity of using just plain markers in here. Just a little bit of reflection, some stuff. I was just getting a bunch of stuff done this day, so I was writing notes from that as I worked through them. And sorry, switch too many pages. And then the 31st, I didn't actually plan in here at all. Again, here's another page that I will probably end up coming back and adding something in at some point. And then we're going into April. So that's the end of how March looked for me in my Hobonichi Cousin. I really am loving this planner. I'm still not committed to using it next year. I think I am going to switch to the common planner because I don't like the restriction of 1 page per day. Some days I need more, some days I need less, but at the same time, it is kind of fun to have this format where you can flip through and have 1 page per day. And if you didn't use it for that, if you use it for a collection or something, that's good too. So I see the pros and cons, but I do think I am still leaning towards the common planner for next year. But I'm loving this. I still have 9 months ahead in it. And, I'm very excited to see where that goes. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. And otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.